Dewgong looking to sweep the game here. Dewgong, they don't want the smoke. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, so please consider subscribing to the channel if that is of interest to you. And if you're a returning subscriber like Ike the Bot, thank you for the support. In today's video, we're taking a look at a bit of a throwback team, the TheAsianMilkMan team with Dewgong, Medicham, and Munchlax. This is a pretty historic team in the history of Go Battle League, team I used to run myself, and it's a very strong team. But for today's video, we're going to mix it up a little bit, and this team actually isn't going to be as strong as that particular team because, as you see, we got Shadow Hitmonchan in the lead, Dewgong and Snorlax, two Pokemon in the back, of course, very weak to fighting. Dewgong in particular has sort of fallen off a cliff with a lot of the recent meta changes, so it's not as common as it used to be. And this team in particular will struggle a lot against a Pokemon like Deoxys or an opposing XL Medicham, for example, because there isn't really much of an answer for it, especially with Shadow Hitmonchan in the place of Medicham. Now with that said, Dewgong is one of my favorite Pokemon, so I have been using it in a bunch of different teams over the past couple of days, just sort of experimenting. Again, this particular team in this video, I wasn't expecting to do very well with it. It's more of like a meme tank job team, sort of trying to tank at this point. I want to have my rating a bit lower for Open Ultra League when it comes back, but we seem to be doing pretty well overall, still going positive in most sets, so I'll probably have to wait until Ultra League comes to try some teams that will actually tank our rating because it doesn't seem to be working in Great League at the moment. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please make sure you smash that like button, it really helps the channel grow. Leave a comment in the comments section down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so this should be the last video for Open Great League before we jump into Ultra League battles. You can see the team right here, a little mix on the TheAsianMilkMan line. Definitely performs a lot worse because of Hitmonchan in the place of Medicham, but we like the spice. We get a great lead here. Opponent swaps down to Pelipper, and here comes the Dewgong. Switch into the Pelipper. Dewgong is pretty much a wall here against Pelipper, so I love getting locked into this matchup right here. Throw the Icy Wind before the Hurricane comes through, at which point you can tank a Hurricane very comfortably. And from this point on, basically, the opponent needs to throw another Hurricane. So what I do here actually is I commit to the farm down, but if they throw the move here, it has to be a Weather Ball. By them throwing here, we can now safely farm down. If they build up for the Hurricane instead, don't throw the Weather Ball, we might be forced to throw an Icy Wind there. But if they're going to throw the Weather Ball, then it's pretty safe farm down from that point. So now we have the Icy Winds ready to go. Gonna throw this at the Azumarill that comes in here. At this point, I don't want to switch out. I want to keep the alignment here. I want the Hitmonchan on the Abomasnow and the Snorlax on the Azumarill, even though it's not a great matchup. The opponent here, of course, is going to farm us down, have a bunch of energy stored, and then swap out once we come in with the Snorlax here. They actually swap out instead earlier, so I come in with the Hitmonchan, and at this point, the moves from Abomasnow do hurt. Energy Ball would KO, Weather Ball wouldn't, but Weather Ball still does, I think, like 70% of our health, so pretty much forced to shield there. And unfortunately, I'm going to actually burn both shields here, commit to the straight farm down. I will win CMP tie, so I should be able to get one shield from this Azumarill. The problem is I won't be able to get to the second move because this will be CMP tie. They'll knock me out with the Ice Beam, and then it's going to come down basically to Snorlax in the back, winning this game down a shield at full health and down in energy. So not really an easy matchup at this point. We did put ourselves in a bit of a tricky spot here, but again, that is sort of a problem with this particular team. With the Hitmonchan there, you know, XL Medicham, of course, the original line works a lot better. But look at this sack swap, catching what I hope is the Hydro Pump here. Boom! That could be pretty decisive right there in winning the game. Going to land this Body Slam here. Notice for that Hydro Pump, I actually went past counting 7 bubbles. So I didn't switch out exactly when they got there. I didn't think they'd throw it right away, so I stayed in 1 or 2 extra bubbles before swapping out. Worked out in our favor that time, caught the sack, and we won that game. So Hitmonchan into Mandibuzz here. If Mandibuzz is actually running Foul Play, this is a pretty good matchup, but it looks like it is running Air Slash, so this is a horrible matchup for Hitmonchan. I'm going to look to throw a Thunder Punch and then swap out, and I'm probably going to swap out into Snorlax despite not having a good matchup here. So we do bring the Snorlax, could pretty much tank any move the Mandibuzz is going to throw. I want to keep this Dewgong alive, of course. for a potential switch, but they're staying with the Mandibuzz here, so I'm going to throw the Body Slam. If you guys watched my last video where I ran triple Shadow Team, a lot of people didn't really have answers for a Snorlax safe switch, which I found surprising. And in this particular case, the opponent lets the Mandibuzz go down, comes in with the Azumarill, at which point now my play is basically to just lower the health on this Azumarill before coming in with the Dewgong after. And this match is pretty much going to come down to the opponent's third Pokemon. So we go down there, I come in with the Dewgong here. This is a very long match between Dewgong and Azumarill, so it's sped up incredibly here at a very high rate. Don't want to waste your time with this particular matchup. Basically, if Azumarill is not running Play Rough, Dewgong wins in all even shields. If it's running Play Rough, the Dewgong will lose in the 0 shields, but that's about it. And we see a very spicy, shiny Grimer come out here, which is kind of caught me off guard. I was going to throw an Icy and then swap out into my Hitmonchan. Didn't know how I wanted to play this, to be honest. Should be able to outpace it to this Fire Punch, which is nice. And at this point, they are going to throw a Mud Bomb where I have to make a decision now. Do I want to let this go down? And I think the play here is actually to let it go down. If I shield, the Grimer will go down, but I don't want to go down a shield here. I'd rather just come in with the Dewgong, throw an Ice Shard, because I don't think the Grimer has another move. And now against the Azumarill, with a shield advantage, this is a winnable game, especially because it looks like they're not actually running Play Rough, so the opponent decides to back out, and we take that game. SF Tab 1 in the next matchup, we got Hitmonchan into Deoxys. This is one of the worst leads you could see with this team, because of course Deoxys beats Hitmonchan, it beats Snorlax, it beats Dewgong, so not really anything too great for us here. I think the play here is to draw something out that hopefully Hitmonchan could do well against. I mean, Snorlax isn't really going to draw that out in particular, but in this case we kind of did get lucky that it did draw out that type of Pokemon in the Umbreon. So going for the superpowers here, and now I'm just going to let the Snorlax go down here. Hopefully we will get to one more move actually, that'd be perfect. And they can't really farm us down with Snarl, so we probably will get to one more move here. Yeah, so they didn't want to get hit by another move, so they decided to actually throw their energy instead of farming down. And now I'm going to decide to come in with the Hitmonchan, of course. I want to farm this down completely because I need that energy for the Deoxys. I actually make a big call here, calling the Foul Play. Last Resort wouldn't KO, but it would still do a bit more damage. We're able to farm down, taking only one Foul Play, which is really nice. Deoxys comes in, we pretty much have 2 moves ready. The main issue is if Deoxys is running Psycho Boost, it's going to get to that very quickly and probably take both our shields. So I throw the 2 Thunder Punches here. And I guess you could make the argument to swap out into Dewgong there, but I decided instead to stay in with the Hitmonchan, which is going to force me to actually burn both shields, because in the last video we saw Hitmonchan actually tank a Psycho Boost, but not at this health. In the red, it's going to get destroyed. Opponent swaps out into Azumarill, so this is actually probably best case scenario here. I'm going to throw the Thunder Punch. We get the shield, and now I come in with the Dewgong. So unfortunately, we actually do lose this matchup in the 0 shields, assuming Azumarill is running the Play Rough, which it looks like they probably are. There it is, the Play Rough, which isn't great. But this game isn't necessarily over yet. We still have an opportunity. I really don't know how they outpaced me here to the next move. I guess because I stayed in with the Hitmonchan. It's probably why, actually, looking back on it now. But going to throw the Icy Wind. And we're going to outpace to the next move. Actually go for the Water Pulse here. It does slightly more damage, but it's less energy efficient. I come in with the Hitmonchan. Debatable play here, I think. To be honest, I probably should have just stayed in with the Dewgong. But the Hitmonchan doesn't really have much play against the Deoxys anyways. Here, if I could farm down and actually win this game, just barely. And actually, I don't think I'd win anyways, because I don't think Icy Wind or Water Pulse would KO the Azumarill in that range. So maybe I wouldn't win anyways. But that was pretty much the win condition there. We had to farm down with Deoxys. Ended up losing that game. But Deoxys is probably the worst lead you could see with this team. It's pretty rough. So we do lose that game. SirFetch'd into Hitmonchan here. To be honest, I mean, with this team, I wasn't really expecting to win too many games. The team will perform a lot better with XL Medicham. But, you know, I like Hitmonchan. I want to run the Spice. And I was hoping to maybe take the rain a little bit, but as you can see, we're doing pretty well. Opponent brings in a Skarmory into my Hitmonchan, so I'm going to throw the Thunder Punch here, no problem. Swap out into Dewgong. And at this point, oh man, I guess I don't want to shield anything, but I don't think I could farm down here unless they go for Brave Bird, which they do. That's amazing. Now we could actually farm down, I think, before they get to the next move. Yes, we can. So this is best case scenario right there. We have 2 Icy Winds ready to go. And now, if they went for Sky Attack, probably wouldn't have been able to farm down. Might have had to throw an Ice in, but that worked out really well for us here. Opponent comes in with the SirFetch'd and is actually going to use both shields on these Icy Winds, which means it's going to be debuffed, so I highly doubt it's going to throw a move here. I come in with the Hitmonchan. Actually is going to throw a move, okay. And I think I'm going to shield this up. Yeah, I do shield it up. And they swap out into Drifblim, so I'm going to throw the Thunder Punch here, and you love to see this because Snorlax in the back is going to pretty much wall this thing. And we catch the Icy Wind for good measure right here. I mean, obviously, we didn't really catch because you'd want to catch the Shadow Ball, but there's no reason to throw it there. So we do catch the Icy Wind, just going to farm down here, not throw any energy, have the Body Slam ready to go on the SirFetch'd, and we should be able to win this game. So we are debuffed 2 times here, but SirFetch'd is quite classy, and Body Slam is enough to KO. So we take that game right there, and let's jump into the next battle here. You got inaaront, and you can see the badge missing there. I hate when the game has to reset, how like the badge disappears. It's kind of dumb, but whatever. Niantic, horrible lead here, Altaria, but Snorlax, not the greatest answer, but I still want to come with Dewgong. Snorlax is still decent to bring in here. It's going to have it's a losing matchup, but at least it's somewhat neutral here. And I should be able to get to a second Body Slam. In this particular matchup, I basically just want to get a shield. And if I could do that, I'm just going to let the Snorlax go down. We are able to do that, so I can't win this if I shield anyway, so there's no point to shield here. Just let it go down and then come in with the Dewgong after. So what I want to do here is let the game timer run a bit, because I don't want to come in with Dewgong and then get switch locked for a bit of time against something that hard counters it, right? So I just come with Dewgong here, gonna have to eat a Sky Attack, totally fine. Farm this thing down completely, and then we will see what they have in the back. And it's actually a Jellicent, so this is not very good because Jellicent is going to be both my Pokemon, and I'm assuming at this point they probably had 2 Pokemon on the back that probably didn't want to see the Snorlax. So it's kind of weird. Every single match I'm doing, people never swap out of the lead when I bring the Snorlax, it seems. And then they end up having 2 Pokemon that really don't want to see Snorlax. Well, actually, in this case, I don't know why they didn't bring the Toxicroak against the Snorlax. To be honest, Toxicroak would have actually destroyed that. And I didn't really have a good answer for Toxicroak in the back anyway, so that could have pretty much ended the game right there on their part. But either way, they're going to win regardless because I literally have no answer for these fighting types with this team. Clearly, this is not a well-constructed team. As you can see, Snorlax loses to fighters, Dewgong loses to fighters, and the Pokemon in the lead should be something that counters fighters, but it's Hitmonchan. It could counter like the Vigoroths, obstacles, like the pseudo fighters, I guess, but it cannot counter the actual Toxicroaks, the Medichams. I guess Deoxys isn't a fighter, it's actually a pseudo fighter, but that's one that loses because it is a psychic type. So a pretty rough loss here, and you could see right away this team, if you run into the things that it can't beat, like just one particular Pokemon, you're going to lose. Which I don't mind because I'm trying to tank, but if you are trying to win consistently, pretty much only do that if you don't run into one of those Pokemon. So here's a horrible lead in Pelipper again, but it's a bit more playable. So I come in with Snorlax here. And once again, we see the opponent is not switching out when I come in with the Snorlax, which I always find very surprising. I guess, I mean, I would expect a lot of people are running Medichams, but especially in this elo range, because this is in like the 3000s, so a little surprised not to see that. But we see an Umbreon come in instead, so I'm going to go for the superpower here, building up right before they get to the foul play. Probably going to be CMP tie here, I'd imagine. No, it's not. So they're actually over farming. I could have probably got to that Body Slam, to be honest, but I didn't throw it. It's okay. It's going to leave more farm actually for the Hitmonchan, so this isn't too bad. Might actually be able to tank a move here. So I'm going to go for the straight farm down here. Opponent is going to throw. Last time they went foul play, I'm probably not going to shield this. It is another foul play, so that's a great call right there. And if they get to another move, it's only going to be a foul play, so I'm going to let this go through as well. Probably going to put us very close to the red, but it's totally fine. And we farm down completely. Still in the yellow, so we got a lot of health here. We see a Ninetales come in, so this is perfect. A lot of times they don't expect the Fire Punch on Hitmonchan, so here it comes. Boom, that's a lot of damage. They come with the Pelipper, we got the Thunder Punch ready. This is going to get a shield as well. Or at least, did they shield anything yet? I don't think they did. Oh, they did. Okay, so they're down to 0 shields. Coming with the Dewgong. This game is basically over at this point. I don't even have to shield the Hurricane here. I mean, we could, but it's not necessary because at this point I just need to throw an Icy Wind and then 2 shields to shield up whatever the Ninetales throws, even if their Weather Balls get to the Water Pulse here, and we're going to win the game. So pretty straightforward at this point. A very difficult lead as you saw, but we were able to come back and win this game, in large part because this opponent did not have a particular strong answer for the Shadow Snorlax safe switch, which is, I keep saying how amazed I am by it, but a lot of people just don't seem to be prepared for Shadow Snorlax safe switch, which is shocking, to be honest. I don't know, but we'll take it. Got Hitmonchan into a Ferrothorn here. A beautiful lead this time. We'd love to see this. Pretty much win in every single situation. Opponent swaps out into Pelipper. You love to see this as well. Dewgong comes in. Dewgong basically a pretty hard counter here to Pelipper, to be honest. We play this out the same way. Throw the Ice Wind immediately before they get to the first Hurricane. Let the Hurricane go through and then commit to the farm down. If they build towards the Hurricane, the second one, and they're going to make it, then throw the Ice Wind. Most of the time they're just going to throw the Weather Ball. As you can see here, they're not going to make the Hurricane. This is only a Weather Ball. It's not going to do anything to Dewgong. We farm down, we get a bunch of energy stored, and now we're looking real good. So let's see if the Ferrothorn comes back in. It does, going to throw the Icy Wind here. This is not a good matchup for Dewgong. However, it is nice for chip damage, and we're going to get off 2 Icy Winds here, which is going to lower the attack. Hitmonchan will come back in once the Dewgong goes down, just to keep alignment. And then I suspect that they'll probably swap out with the energy stored instead of throwing it while debuffed. But you can see Dewgong putting a lot of work there. They bring in a Marowak. Here comes the Snorlax. You love to see it. Pretty much hard counter City in this particular matchup. We hard counter the lead, hard counter the safe switch, hard counter the back line. And yeah, it's a pretty straightforward win. Shadow Snorlax actually doesn't have as great of a matchup against Marowak as you would imagine. The Munchlax matchup seems to be a bit better, because I guess this Shadow Snorlax is taking more damage from being a Shadow type, but it should also be doing more damage with the licks, so it's still a winnable matchup, obviously, and I'm just spamming the body slams here, going to farm down completely. The Ferrothorn's going to come in, pretty much has to throw energy at this point, and Hitmonchan with 2 shields. Pretty straightforward, just gotta farm it down with counter. And this is going to be a game where pretty much none of us use the shield, and we are going to be able to win this game right here. So GG's. And let's jump into the next battle here. We got jonyfans. Sounds like OnlyFans. Hitmonchan into a Stunfisk. So this is a great matchup. Obviously, opponent swaps out into Venusaur. And Venusaur is a bit of a problem here because with an energy lead, it will beat Dewgong as well in the 2 shields. So I'm going to throw a Fire Punch first. And then I believe I'll probably look to build up to a move. Maybe Shield and then swap out into Snorlax. I don't know if I'll throw the Fire Punch here. Or will I? No, okay, so I don't know how the heck they outpaced me to the second Fire Punch here. Considering I had the energy lead too. Like, that really caught me off guard there. Because I'm pretty sure we're supposed to get there even on even energy to the second Fire Punch. Maybe I'm wrong. But if I remember correctly, we are supposed to. Probably just well timed on the opponent's part. So the Snorlax comes in now. And the Frenzy Plant comes through. Not great, but I am able to get to this Body Slam. Unfortunately, they swap out into Mandibuzz. So I'm going to throw the Superpower here. This is totally fine because I could just come into Dewgong after. And I'll have an Icy Wind ready for the Venusaur anyways. So it's looking pretty good right now, but it totally depends on what their last Pokemon is. Actually, we know what it is. It's a Stunfisk. So I'm going to come in with the Dewgong here. And I'm probably going to look to farm this down completely. Very dominant matchup for Dewgong. Aerial Ace comes through, which is actually better for us. And I'm going to farm down completely with the Ice Shard here. So Foul Play doing more damage than Aerial Ace, as you see. They get to another move, but we're tanking this no problem. Dewgong's super tanky. And now okay, so I tried swapping out, hoping that they wouldn't switch, but the opponent was thinking the same thing as me. Fortunately, we did make the swap, which means we're going to get to this Fire Punch before the Stunfisk gets to the Rock Slide, which would be enough to KO. And getting off that damage is actually enough chip for us to get to this Dewgong. So I do overfarm a little bit more, throw the Icy Wind here. I need to make sure that I have a bit of energy so that I could get to the next Icy Wind before the Venusaur gets to the Frenzy Plant. Dewgong looking to sweep the game here, taking out the Stunfisk. Here comes the Venusaur. We outpace it to the Icy Wind. Gonna take out the Venusaur. Can we finish off the job with the Mandibuzz. Dewgong, they don't want the smoke. Back out of the match, taking out all 3 Pokemon there in the end. Next match we got Domake. Shout out to Domake. This is one of the OG subscribers on the channel. Very talented trainer. We got Hitmonchan into Azumarill, so obviously a horrible lead. Swap out to Snorlax, and we get a level 51 best buddy Hundo XL Wobbuffet, I'm pretty sure. So you can already see it's completely 2 different teams here. We got one team with the Shadow Pokemon, you know, sort of glassy. The next team is pretty much the tankiest team you could ever see. So who's gonna win? Bulky defensive team or the Shadow, not really attack weighted, but you know, the questionable team, let's say. So that Wobbuffet, obviously I didn't shield anything since it's a losing matchup against the level 51 XL with Snorlax, so I decided to come in with my Dewgong, and I was thinking here, maybe the only play is for me to farm down completely. Like, not really sure what they're going to have in the back, but at the time I was thinking it's probably going to be something pretty meta relevant, considering the Azumarill and the Wobbuffet there to start. And I was expecting the Azumarill to come in here, but they actually come in with the Stunfisk instead, which makes sense because they want to keep it away from the Hitmonchan. So I throw the Ice in here and actually build up for the Water Pulse. So this is pretty much just a very meta team here. Very difficult to beat, of course, especially with this alignment, because it pretty much hard counters us for the most part. And I come in with the Hitmonchan here. I was thinking maybe I could win this in the 2 shields against the Azumarill now that I have the Thunder Punch. So one of those situations where I kind of wish I did have the Power Up Punch, Thunder Punch combination like I used to run back in the day. Because then if I got the first shield with Power Up Punch, obviously 2 Thunder Punches would be enough to KO from that range and possibly win the game. But at the same time, the Stunfisk might be close to, I don't think it's at a Rock Slide just yet, because it was pretty much just taking spammy moves from the Dewgong. But it might be like 1 or 2 mud shots away from the Rock Slide. So even if this Thunder Punch did KO here, I feel like it might not be enough to win the game here. So the only players to sack, I tried going over the play rough count, but obviously it makes sense for them to not throw there. They don't have to throw the move until I really threaten them with the next Thunder Punch, so it makes sense to hold off there. And I think even if I timed it better and did catch the move, would have lost anyways, because the Stunfisk probably has the move ready or close to it. So GG's to Domake though, very well played. Bit too difficult of a team for me to beat here with this tank job team, but shout out to you. We got Hitmonchan into Stunfisk, and Pelipper comes in, so again, hard counter with the Dewgong here. I'm still thinking about the XL Wobbuffet. That is crazy. Level 51 XL Wobbuffet, man. Shout out to you, because that is not easy to build. And Pelipper comes in here. This is a wall. Can't really do anything to the Dewgong. Like I said, you take the Hurricane. Look to farm down completely. They almost always throw the Weather Ball because they're afraid that you're going to either farm them down or you're going to throw the Ice in first. No point to throw the Ice in unless they threaten you with the Hurricane. So we knock that out. Now let's see what the opponent's going to do here. They come in with the Stunfisk, and Stunfisk, you know, just going straight Icy Wind against Stunfisk on even energy, you can actually win in the even shields, so 1 and 2 shields. You don't really have to throw a Water Pulse here. I'm only doing it because I'm already so low in health, and it's going to do more damage. They swap out into Venusaur. Not optimal, but it's okay. I'm going to come into Snorlax here. At this point, I just want to take either shields or get it very low with lick damage, finish off the game with Hitmonchan, pretty much with 2 shields. I don't think I'll shield anything here with Snorlax, to be honest. I'll probably let this go through. I was hoping I could take a Frenzy Plant here and actually get to another Body Slam, but as you can see, I couldn't, so I swap out instead because I didn't want to get farmed down and give this Venusaur free energy. I don't think I was going to make it to the Body Slam. And now with 2 shields, I should be able to outpace here to the Fire Punch. I'll probably have to take one more Frenzy Plant, use my last shield, but I should be able to get to the Fire Punch. So actually no, so now I'm going to shield this and farm down because there's no point to throw the Fire Punch now. They're probably going to look to swap out into Stunfisk, yes. So you have to throw this, don't want to take any damage on this Hitmonchan. Fire Punch going to knock out the Stunfisk here. And we should be able to farm down with counters. If not, we would get to the lick damage anyways, take that game. And we go 4-1 in that final set, going to bring up our rating. Unfortunately, Tank Job lives on. So So those were the battles with the Asian Milkman retro line minus Medicham. And remember, when the Asian Milkman made this team popular, Medicham was not even XL at the time. So all of these teams were using maybe 1430 CP Medicham, maybe 1450 with Best Buddy. It was not as powerful as it could be today. And this particular team we're using here, it's a variation on the line, of course. This is definitely a worse performing version of that line. This particular team in general, I don't necessarily recommend it with Hitmonchan there. Probably want something that provides better coverage for Snorlax and Dewgong in the back. But hey, we still managed to make it work in a couple of these battles. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.